Well, thank you for joining me. I'm going to be looking at solving some equations which have fractions in them. Fractions are considered to be rational expressions. So whenever you see the word rational, you've got to try to think of the word fractions. So rational just means that there's a numerator and a denominator. So let's have a look at solving a rational expression. I'll do two. So the first one, we've got a left-hand side, there's a rational expression. And on the right-hand side, let's have a look at putting two terms over here. This is quite awkward because what I'd like to do is have one fraction on the left and one fraction on the right. So with these two fractions, I want to make one fraction. So the way we do that is having the denominators the same. So how do we got a 6x here. I want a 6x in this position. So if I double the top and the bottom, then I got a 6x and a 6x. So the objective here is that I'm going to have two fractions. And I double the top, double the numerator. I double the denominator, double 3x is 6x. This is good because what we've done is we've got two fractions with the same denominator. And that's important so that we can join those two fractions into one fraction and the denominator will be both 6x because this fraction has a 6x, this fraction has a 6x. So together it will be x minus 3 minus 2. And that's one fraction. Good. Now, this is pretty much what I wanted. So I'm going to just simplify this. X minus 3 minus 2, that's minus 5. And a 6x. Be careful, don't cancel those x's because they do not cancel. All right. Now, here we go. We've got a fraction on the left and a fraction on the right. So what I'd like to do here is what's called cross multiply. And cross multiply is when you have, if I was to take A over B equals C over D, cross multiply is taking the D up and making it multiply with the A, and take that B and cross it up and make it multiply with the C. So that would become AD equals CB. So this is cross multiply. You take the denominator up to the top on the other side and it becomes CB. You take this denominator, the D, up the top, cross it over onto the numerator of the other side, so it's up with the A. Now there's no denominators. So really what we do here is we eliminate the presence of denominators, and denominators can make life difficult. So let's take this 6x, bring it up here. Let's take this x and bring it up here, and that's called cross multiply. So here we go. 1 times 6x is 6x. The x up here, I'm just going to put it in front of x minus 5. This is an important skill. So we started with fraction equals fraction in this line here. This was the special line that really I would have liked to start with. However, we had two fractions to start with and we had to change that into one. So we bring the denominator up here and we bring this denominator up here, and that's called cross multiply. And that means all the denominators are gone. What we've got to do now is be careful. We have to expand. We have to go x times x and x times 5. So that becomes x times x is x squared and x times 5 is 5x. Now, what we've got is we've got an equation with x's on the left, x's on the right, and I want the objective here to be, we want to have some x's on equals to 0. So I want one side with no x's. So what I'll do is I'm going to bring the 6x over the other side, and I'm going to just leave nothing on that side. Now, if there's nothing left on that side, that means we're going to have, can I get rid of that? can I do this? Okay, I can move that up. So, can I move that down? Yes, I can. All right. So, I want to have nothing left over here. So, this 6x comes over here to the other side. So, we've got x squared minus 5x. And this 6x went over the other side to be a minus 6x. And look, nothing is left on the left-hand side. So, we've achieved our objective to have it equal 0. Now let's simplify this. So we've got x squared minus 11x equals 0. What we need to do now is to factorize. Because we've got an x common, so I'll just go up here. I'll just continue up here. 0 equals x is common, and there's an x minus 11. And here we go. We've got a situation where 0 is a product, is equal to a product of two factors. So each factor, one of these factors must be 0 to equal 0. Remember, if 8 times something equals 0, this has to be a 0 because 8 times 0 equals 0. You've got to have a 0 to equal to 0. Therefore, x can equal 0. Or this bracket can equal 0. And we end up with, let's just make that a 0. This is finished. Take the minus 11 across to be 0 plus 11. And we've got our answer, therefore, x could equal 0 or x could equal 11. There are, in fact, two solutions to this equation because we had a quadratic. All right, I hope this has helped. Go through it very carefully. The steps are all in there. And until I talk to you again, stay happy.